Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your local problematic Leo, and today on Dress to Get Lucky, we're going to be rolling the dice with our latest Warframe, Miss Koumei. Now, I actually have 3 other deluxe skins that I have yet to take a look at, so without ado, let's get dressed. Down in the description box below, R stands for row, C stands for column, and the palette name will be included as well. The rest is going to be common sense and your execution. Now, before we jump on in, I do have like another little set of things I want to address. I absolutely love the Koumei Noble animation set. Number one, I think it looks great on how the actual skin is set up, the kind of way that the fabric dangles, the way that the body is shaped. I think that it looks fantastic, but I don't think it does the greatest job of showing off like armor pieces and the way that, you know, other things sit on her. We will be starting off with it though, because I think it's kind of a vibe. Now, speaking of a vibe, as many of you guys know, there was multiple deluxe skins that were released with this update. And there is a very popular look that has developed from it that I did not want to replicate here, mainly because of the fact that it's all over the place, but I figured that I should show you guys while we're here, and if you are using it, there is absolutely no shame in it. I just saw way too many of it, and I was like, yeah, we are not going to be doing that. So Miss Nova also got a very, very pretty deluxe skin. I have a couple issues with it, but in general, it was a very, very pretty skin, and it came with a Signa as well as an ephemera that is all kind of like flower based. So as you can see, it sits really, really nicely with Koumei. It's got this big bow that you can see from the back. You know, it's like juicy. You can see it from the back, you know. So we got all of this beautiful, beautiful detailing here, as well as this really, really gorgeous Signa that fits so well with the theme of Koumei. However, I've seen it too much. It's like a pumpkin spice latte. I don't drink pumpkin spice lattes during the fall season. I have myself a little bit of a soy chai latte, 7 pumps chai, no water, in a grande, if you know what I'm saying. I'm very, very specific about it, but it's pretty, but we're not doing it. So let's go ahead and go back to the look. Now, as I was stating earlier, this is a very traditional look. As you guys can probably tell, I am definitely pulling from the kind of like 9-tailed fox look, and we're embracing some of that spirit fire going on. But also because of the fact that she is kind of like a random status girl, I figured that I would go ahead and mix in the electric element from the Edo Prime. Now, if anybody knows what this specific coloration type is, because if I'm going to be honest with you, I actually pulled the inspiration from this coloration. The original is a very like bright kind of teal with a strong red and white. Those 3 colors are somewhere in the zeitgeist of, I hope it's Japanese traditional culture. I hope. And then I just kind of took it and then I did my raw, you know, watering down of it so that it's a little bit more digestible in game. And that's how I ended up coming with this traditional kind of look. And now one of the things that I need to point out with this too is that Koumei actually has 2 metallics. Her tertiary is actually the more dominant metallic. So if you guys are getting a little stuck with it, I almost like rotate Koumei to the back so that we can go ahead and see what the metallic looks like. I realize I said that I was going to change her stance because you can't really tell. But I do start it from the back if there's a little bit of an issue with kind of like figuring out what metallic you want, because it's sort of prominent from the front, but it's far more prominent when you take it from the back. We won't address that. So you can kind of figure out where you want to be, and you can kind of mix up your accents and your tertiaries with the rest of your armor piece too. Also, I think we're still running into a little bit of a trouble where metallics are mapping slightly differently for ephemeras and cyandanas and sigils right now, so I kind of dulled it to the point where everything looks about right. Now, the final thing I did want to go ahead and talk about with this specific look, because it is this traditional nine-tailed fox spirit fire thing. Even though the helmet, and I do have to point this out, this is the alternate helmet that we're using. The Koumei helmet, I don't love it. I don't know why, but every time I see it, I don't like when the heads look like they're trying to be faces. So we will be using the Orihime helmet for basically all of this, because at least it looks like an animal, like it's an animal mask. And I can't tell if it's like a deer or a fox, so we're just gonna go with the fact that it's like a spirit fox deer thing. Whatever. But as you guys know, we love ourselves a little bit of an Ephesium. However, there are several other Sayandanas that I did like the looks of with this as well. The Alto was actually the original choice, and that's mainly because of the fact that I loved how the stepping of the Alto right here works really well with the stepping of the Ito. Of course, Ito Prime armor set also kind of follows with a little bit of a traditional look to it. But the Pyra Prime Sayandana is the second choice of the fire, but I really, really did like the way that the color mapping looked on this. I actually really love the way that the color mapping looked on it, and the effect from the front is very, very nice. It looks even better when you're in your like puppet mode. But the final choice that I had, if you really want to go big on this look, it's gonna be the Stella Flare Sayandana. Just number one, the shaping of it looks fantastic from the front, but also from behind it kind of blends really, really nicely with the tails. If you're trying to do like this super, you know, fire look, but me personally, we're just gonna go ahead and stick with the Ephesium, keep it nice and simple. But yeah, all in all, like, I love how traditional this looks. It looks like he's dancing in the animations for the Noble set. Huh. So hilarious, especially with bows. If you haven't tried her with bows, try her with bows. Now, moving on to our next look. Somebody in the comments read me for filth on this one, but I'm keeping it and I love it. Basically, what they had told me was this looks like a coloration that is very similar to a previous look that I've done, and it's a previous look that they've just been copying and pasting onto all of their Warframes, and this is kind of how it turns out. I actually did this look from scratch. But it just goes to show that literally, you guys know me. If you've been tuned in for a long time, you know the shades that I like to use. I was actually very tempted to create a color palette and just say, you guys just use this. I should never ever have to use, I should never ever have to make another Warframe Dress to Kill video again. Just use what's in this palette and you'll figure it out. But as you can see, I went from Firefox into like wood deer. I absolutely love the deer theme, and with this, and actually sadly have to do this real quick, because I love the Seraphire Ephemera, but I need to pull it back. I need to pull it back because it's a lot. It's hard to see some of the effects, so we're gonna go back on this. Now what we are using right now is the Kritma. It is Tenno, so this kind of has a lot of the Tenno stuff that I put on it, and it is the Kritma armor set. Basically, I loved how like the glassiness kind of picks up some soft shine, but it almost like looks like a battle deer. It's like a really cute little battle deer. So we've got that, and then we've also got the attachments as the Envine and Signa, because it looks like little antlers. So I was like, oh, it's so cute. I just kind of like love the effect of it, and it kind of is, you know, very mindful, very demure. It's a little bit softer and, you know, not as aggressive. And then we go ahead and toss on the ephemera, and then all of a sudden all you can see is the ephemera. It's one of those things where I really love the shape that it gives, because it's like, it's just so intense, the Seraphire. It's just a lot, but it really like bulks up the arms. You can kind of tell, and it really reshapes the way that she looks. But if you want to go for something a little softer, I could definitely see, where is the one that I liked? The Gloriana. If you want to go with something a little bit more traditional, and you kind of you know, want to keep this kind of like nature themed. Oh my god, that looks really, really good with the way the SANDR is placed. Now, speaking of Tenno Gen stuff, this is also Tenno Gen SANDR. This is the Styx SANDR. And I mean, if we're talking about nature and time, right? Like, because it's like, time is like nature. It's a part of nature. It's like growth. This actually fits really well because it almost looks like a clock from the back. It's a little less intense. You still have a little bit of thickening because her body is like not all there. It's like a puppet. You know what I mean? So you need a little bit more oomph in certain body parts. So I really, really like that version of it as well. I might pair it with a different signal, but you know what, let's just go ahead and go back to our normal state. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, see, even with the Koumei Noble set, I think it looks really, really nice like that. Let's go back to how I left it though, because you guys know I do like myself a little bit of extra oomph. And how do I put this? When we're talking about Battle Deer, nothing looks as battle-y as the Sapphire. I really, really like it. Sometimes it's just a little much. But you know what? Sometimes we like a little much, right? All right, let's move on to our last one. And I have a lot to talk about when it comes to our last look because at its core, it is very simple. It is very monochromatic. However, I think that there's just something soft and pretty about it. As you can see right now, my thoughts on this one was I really wanted to come up with a bit of like a crystal maiden. That is the general look that I was kind of going for, and I in fact started off with the energy color, and that's something big that I think that we all need to do when we take a look at looks. Sometimes we just want to be inspired by the energy color. Now, there are a couple factors that went really, really well with this, and I'll show you. Because sometimes it's the entire look instead of just like the single thing. What really capped it off for me is the Herodis ephemera, and this actually comes from the new Caliban Deluxe skin. This is the one, and I actually have to do a little walking with this so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. Because it doesn't quite 100% look like this. It has a little bit of like a little dust glow off of it, and you can see from the ground it's creating these like portals of these spirits that like want to come up and grab you. And I think that's kind of cool with the whole puppeteer thing because it's like spirits and puppets that are like animated, right? I absolutely love it. But let's jump back into the look real quick. Let's take off the, what do you call this? Let's take off the ephemera because the original inspiration, and it was one of those things that made me really mad, but it was the Frostfall ephemera, I believe. Frostfall, because I love that kind of like glowing, almost crystal-y effect. So if you want that crystal-y effect, but you don't want that stupid storm cloud that follows you around that really, really irritates me, I hate it. The Herodis kind of does something similar. It's not 100%, it's a little bit softer, but you get that spirit effect. So it's like she's like spirit crystal mommy, and that was definitely the theme that I was going on for her. So let's go ahead and get her into the normal animation set, or the Gara animation set. And you can see it's really, really simple, but because of the fact that, you know, we have the armor set that goes along with it, it really makes it pop. Now, I do have to point out a couple things with this because, oh my god, because the attachments can really make or break this. The other attachments that I actually wanted to do was a completely different set. So feel free to use this because I do give the thumbs up for this set. I was actually going to do something with the Kukiri Prime because I wanted to do like a water set or like a liquid set to kind of like, you know, mess around with the different elements. That was the initial thought process that I was going into all of this with. But I really did like, look at how the Tenno set, the Tenno 22 chest plate sits on her. I was like, okay, that's looking kind of sick. We could kind of do something with that. And in all honesty, I bet you anything that on the spot I could probably come up with a slightly different variation of this, just using the ephemera, because look at the way that the shoulder piece sets. That shoulder piece doesn't always sit well on a lot of different Warframes, and I didn't expect it to sit on this very well. I actually felt like the textures were going to look kind of weird. I'm not going to do the legs as well because I think that's going to be a little too much. But I got really excited when I saw this. I was like, yo, I could do something with that, right? So, I don't know. Let's do a quick experiment because I'm thinking, maybe not the Conqueror. Maybe that was a bad choice. But, you know, Gloriana, you could toss a little Gloriana effect. Oh, the other ephemera I wanted to show you with this. Hold on. Rob's everywhere at once. Let's continue on with this thought process of maybe tossing in, like, the Protovire ephemera on that, right? I feel like that would be a really, really sick look. And the way that the look all comes together, even though it's a very simple monochromatic look, when you layer things nicely, that's the way that it ends up coming out looking. So keep that as another thought. I'm going to go quickly get her back into the Namor set so that you can see the other ephemera that I was actually considering using on her as well. Look at me. I'm not just searching it up, you guys, because I'm in a rush and I don't want to keep you guys here forever. But the other one that I was going to use is the Katena Prime. Oh my god. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that kind of like, let's just do the whole effect. Let's get that in there. Let's give her her puppet moment. Right? And I love the way that her arms going out plays with that. I mean, like Crystal Mommy 100%. So there's like two different variations of that look right there for you. So even though it is simple, it's one of those things that I like to say, you kind of like, you have a theme, you have a concept, you go with it, you stick with it. Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about these looks. Oh my god, there's also SANDRs that I wanted to show you with this. Listen, there's so many things. There's so many things when it comes to not necessarily specifically just this customization, but like, I love the Corona SANDR. I would pair the Corona SANDR with like the jetpacky looking thing. Oh, she looks, strangely enough, she looks good with a lot of SANDRs, but I mean, since we were just talking about the Tenno set, if you put the backpack, the Tenno backpack on, if you put the Tenno backpack on the deer looking one, it's kind of cute. It's kind of like it's a deer going out for a picnic. Anyway, I'm losing my train of thought, but there's just a lot that you can do with her. And I don't know. Let me know what you guys have liked seeing so far. I'm sorry I'm so rambly, but I have so many thoughts about the customization of Koumei. And the issue is there's still 3 other deluxe skins that I need to address, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make dedicated videos for each, but maybe, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what order of importance you would want to see those deluxe skins with. But that is going to do it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, there is one thing for everybody who stayed here this long. I forgot to show you guys. Okay, we were talking about the SANDR, but there is one more SANDR I wanted to point out with this one, because legitimately, I don't usually do these SANDRs because I think that they're, I don't want to say, I don't want to call anybody out or hurt anybody's feelings. I think it's a little bit much. But for this specific look, tell me why. Tell me why. I mean, we're going to end on that note. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.